Yeah, let's be honest, the Balkans are not going to have fun this episode. Come back, everybody. So, today, as you saw in the intro, we are going to be destabilizing the Balkans, along with a lot of other stuff. Let's begin. Okay, so, first thing first, we are beginning this one in Persia, where Stanistan is going to do an overthrow of Persia. Now Stanistan is the entire alliance, and each one of these countries has its own name. I remember this. Trust me, this one is I don't remember this. Stan Empire. Okay, this is the thing itself is Stan Empire now. This is Stanistan. That doesn't make sense. The thing is still Stanistan. This is Stan Monarchistan. Now what am I? This is okay. This is Caspia. I know this. This is Caspia. These guys don't really matter that much. This is the original. So I don't remember their name. The original. That's we can call them that. These guys are Stanland. That just means Stanistan. Who is messaging me, bro? Um. Okay, give me a moment. Let me go find out. Bro, I actually need to stop pre-recording these. So I was correct. It is called Stanistan. This is called the Stan Union. Yo, past me needs to like fix the names. It's okay. This was Stanistan. I was correct. I was not wrong. I know my storyline. Um. Okay, so Stanistan, the Stan Union, I guess now. So either way, all these guys, Stanistan especially, they're gonna basically launch the overthrow of this. I guess from now on, Stanistan can mean this or the entire Union. Context will matter. Right now, it means the whole Stanistan Union. I think Stanistan might actually be the strongest out of the Union. I'm just gonna call these guys the Roman Empire looking thing, the HRE looking thing, and then these guys Stanistan. Anyway, out of the entire HRE looking thing, Stanistan is probably the biggest, the best, the strongest. I would argue, maybe a little bit better than even that. Or either way, we're gonna launch the overthrow of the Persians, and I'm going to be very honest. I don't think the Persians stand a single chance in this at all. And honestly, I think I can literally just color over the border because I am 100% confident that even after all of this, these kids are not surviving less than maybe more than maybe like a week. Let's be honest here. Um, honesty is the best policy. Stanistan is getting Stanistan. I mean, Persia is getting obliterated in this war. Hey, maybe they'll live. Maybe an unlikely ally will come to their help. Wrong zoom in. Wrong zoom in. I meant the blue team. Anyways, because remember, the blue team wants to make the Middle East, Asia minus India and East Asia area remain exactly like it is right now because that's the thing that's going to give them the most power. Over here, these guys, they're going to break through a little bit too. They're going to maybe push in just a little bit. It is worth mentioning this is also the first time that the entire union is going to a war together. So yeah, that's a major thing. It's also probably the first war that these guys are fighting outside of the union. So their military is gonna be horrible. Uh, Same with these guys, I think. I don't remember. Either way, they're gonna actually move through and they're gonna cut this part off, which is going to lead to some stuff. Now, remember, this stuff is technically uncolonized, which means the Persian are going to very quickly begin making supply lines through this region. Now, they're not going to actually colonize it because, as we talked about already, the amount of destruction caused by the blue team's conquest here has made this literally uncolonizable. That's why it's gray. So yeah, they are going to connect up a few major cities and make a little bit of a thing. Uh, okay, one quick storyline change later. Anyways, not important. But yeah, so these guys are gonna continue pushing. Now the main battle is just gonna be over here because realistically, these are towns and cities that were already kind of destroyed by the red team and the blue team. So realistically speaking, they're not gonna hold that much strategic value. However, worth noting that they still exist. Either way, though, over here, the Stanistanis, they're gonna continue their invasion. They're gonna continue destroying every single part of this nation. And they're gonna get pretty far into Persia, pretty deep. But the problem is their soldiers, their their army is massive. And you know what else? Okay, no, 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 I'm joking. The problem is this is terrain that they have actually literally never encountered. This might be their first time getting this far in. So Persia is now going to actually have the advantage because they know this stuff. And they are going to do possibly the worst thing they could do. They're going to do a blitzkrieg and they're going to launch a surprise invasion of these guys. Now they're going to quickly storm through, blitzkrieging everything and destroying so much land. And oh my god, that is basically invisible. I'm going to actually thicken up the opacity thing a little bit just so it's okay. Get taken up again. That's better. Uh, they're going to invade and they're going to capture a lot of stuff. And yeah, this is not looking good for the secondary Mughals, I guess, basically. The little Mughal state over here. They're gonna get this far into it, and then they're gonna start reinforcing their border. They're gonna go down over here, and they're gonna capture a little bit of the regions over here. Now you may be asking why. Now hold up, I'll show you. Because it's a blitzkrieg, and they're gonna get like pretty far out. They're not gonna capture that capital. Nope, that's not gonna happen. That would be a complete destruction and declaration of war. But basically, they're gonna do this so that they can move up from here, and they can begin destroying the Mughals from the south, the Stanistanis from the south. You get it? See, they're pulling a smart boy move. Now, quickly, they're going to kind of come over here, and they're gonna like cut this off like that, and that's gonna mean that they can technically now just they can do this. You know, they're gonna pull this off, and they're gonna do that. They're gonna they're gonna push back a large Persian stuff, a lot of Persian stuff, and they're gonna capture all of this instead. Uh, that's not looking good, is it? Like that's not looking good at all. This is horrible. This is that's not good, bro. This is not good for the Stanistanis. They did not actually expect the Persians to be able to do this, and so propaganda mission time because after a lot of propaganda missions, they're finally going to begin. The Persians are finally going to see their first rebellion. That's going to be over here near the wasteland, where since the money is already low, people are already upset at the government, and uh, yeah, these kids are going to get a little bit too mad. They're going to be like, "Can we finally just end this? We finally have a negotiation tool. Let's just end this." But because the government's getting greedy, they want everything. They're not going to end it, and that's going to make them very mad. Uh, that is also going to make this region insanely unstable because a lot of people here, especially across the border towns, just in random spots, really want the war to end so they can escape this place. You know. However, the war does not look like it's going to end anytime soon. Now, the blue team, again, really does not like this. They're getting pretty anxious. They're like, if these guys fall, these guys, the Union, especially Stanistan, is going to get sea access. And not only are they going to get sea access, they're going to get sea access right next to us. Right next to literally one of our most populated cities in Dubai. The red team's also worried because, let's say one day the blue team's defenses over here just like kind of fail and military ships begin entering the Persian Gulf. That's the red team's capital. The red team 100% relies on the fact that the blue team basically wants to dominate this ocean between the red team and themselves, and so they let no one else in. They rely on that fact to keep their capital in Qatar safe. If one day this defense fails and someone really has it out for the red team, and they send enough military ships, the red team is cooked. If the capital falls, the rest of the country will be destroyed. Especially like the mainland. Like maybe out till Morocco they'll be fine, like over here. But that main country is gone, and soon these guys will be gone too after that. So both of these kids have a common interest of keeping these guys at bay. So they're gonna start doing stuff. However, gonna start giving Persian stuff. However, it's not gonna be enough because quickly it's gonna become much more than that. As these guys start pushing back, the Mughals are finally going to have the arrival of troops over here, which is gonna mean these guys are gonna start getting pushed back, especially in the capital, and eventually not wanting to lose even more like support of people and also not wanting to get wombo comboed by the Mughals, these guys retract forces from here, which is going to lead to the starvation of these kids. And they're all definitely going to get pushed out of here. They're. What did I just do? Okay, moving on. They're going to get these kids out of here. Those kids are gone. However, now it's a race. To uh it's a race to the Persian capital, Tehran 2.0. Who is calling me, bro? Who is I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Okay, anyways, it's a race to here. Who's going to get it? The Mughals, the Stanstanis, or the blue team. Yeah. Now the blue team, they want to keep this Persian government. However, they really don't trust that these guys are going to be able to do this on their own. So they also don't think that these guys are going to allow them military access. So most of their troops are just marching through here and setting up a giant camp over here, just in case anything really goes wrong. They can fully invade and completely destroy. They're also here is one of their biggest encampments right there, because these guys have their biggest encampment right there. So just in case they get out of hand, which they are going to get out of hand, as they're going to begin expanding down over here. And now it's clear what they're trying to do. They're trying to get down to the coastline. If they grab that coastline, Persia is cooked. Persia is absolutely cooked. So Persia is going to finally get some troops out of over here, and they're going to basically cut the entire supply chain over here that was being maintained by those troops. They're going to completely pull all those troops out, and they're going to send them down to fight over here. Now, these guys knew that that was happening, and so while that was happening, they're going to launch a surprise attack. Now, no one is expecting them to attack this many troops with their small force, so it's going to be a complete surprise attack. Now, they're actually going to parallel movement these troops, and they're going to keep going up until they're going to fight them in the first thing, and they're going to win because of the surprise. And they're going to cut it off right here. A lot of troops are going to go into the uncolonized thing, and they're going to be called cowards by the government, which is going to make them mad, and they're going to desert completely. Most of them are going to go to over here. Some of them are going to hop on boats and go over here. Some are going to defect to the red team. Or actually, not defect. Some of them are going to go to the red team and blue team areas to either one, build a new life that's still somewhat Persian, or two, get sent back over here to fight on the front lines over here now. Either way, it's not looking good as the rebels are continuing to spread. Meanwhile, over here, these guys are going to launch another strike, and this time they're going to grab another choke point and completely destroy this entire region. And now this is becoming very unsustainable, so the Persians are going to finally have to pull out completely. Now it's worth noting these guys are nationalists, so they're actually also going to get completely wombo comboed in here. Either way, though, hey, their settlements are gone. These are okay. So these are half people demanding more freedom, half people who are just upset with the government. Actually, yeah, it is just people upset with the government that also want freedom and think the government is doing a bad job of it. That's what those are. So they're gonna do pretty well over there, I guess. And then now it's looking really bad. Quickly, it's looking the Persian capital is going to start getting even closer, and now Stanistan is cooking. These guys though are gonna realize that if it's now or never, because if Stanistan gets it, well, they don't want Stanistan to have more power, right? They this is a toxic relationship, bro. These kids help each other, and then they also want each other to not do well on the global stage. So the thing is going to start. These guys are going to pull a little bit of a toxic move. They're going to cut off right here, and that is going to lead to these guys becoming completely trapped, which is going to lead to them coming over here, and that's it. That's as far as they're getting. Stanistan, they're gonna now go out for their all-out campaign of grab as much land up as possible, so that our allies can't grab it up instead. This is just people playing Age of History 2, and you ally yourself to a really strong country, and then you declare war on someone. You have to get as much land as possible, or else they're gonna take it all. Um, Either way, though, the capital is completely abandoned. Some people stay, most people leave, including the royal family. Because remember, I think Persia was a military dictatorship at first, and then got replaced by a monarchy with their new government. I'm pretty sure. Over here, to make sure that the Mughals don't swipe up anything, as the Mughal forces are coming, these guys are also going to go down, and they're going to cut the Mughals off, making sure that the Mughals don't steal any land. And now look at this, man. Look at this. Now it's a race to who can get more land between Stanistan and these guys. So quickly, Stanistan is going to start going like this, and these guys are going to start going like this. And very quickly, the two are going to basically meet at the same time to that point. Except, obviously Stanistan is going to be doing it a little bit better, and they're on the south, which means, yeah, all of this land is now going to fall under the control of these guys. However, Stanistan owns so much more. This is all prime real estate now. Um, Quickly these guys realize that this might not be good, so they let the blue team finally arrive through their territory, and now the blue team is going to start moving through. Now, quickly the blue team is going to capture a lot of the major towns, and it's worth noting that the blue team isn't really at war with the Persians. They're at war with the Persian resistance that's trying to resist the blue team. Most people are welcoming them with open arms, including the the Persian king, who says to greet them as our guests and to not really like bully them because they're here to help us. By us, like he's talking to the Persian people. Either way, the rebels, they say to if you're a rebel supporter, do not lay down your arms and keep fighting. But it doesn't really matter because the race is a failure for them, as not only does the blue team capture this, but after the king and most of the royal family, except for the prince who is left in charge of Persia, however, eventually he gets here too. Um, Once they all get here, the blue team is going to help them get into the UAE and from there into secrecy. But they're also going to now quickly spread forces around here. And now worth mentioning, the red team forces have arrived. So now the red team is helping the blue team. Now blue team is trying to not have any confrontations with the rebels too much. However, obviously it's gonna happen. And now comes the time, the real, the true like rush and get as much land as possible time. So obviously the south is a complete stronghold of the blue team, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. They are going to stabilize their control even more. Oh, what? Okay, they are going to stabilize their control even more by doing like this. However, over here, this is where they're going to stop. They're not going to go any much further because now above here, they're meeting a lot of rivals. They're getting like they're not being respected anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't like them anymore. It's all rebel people. However, sadly for the rebels, they're not going to be able to get here in time either, as Stanistan's massive army, absolutely massive army, is going to begin the invasion over here, and they're going to blitzkrieg through all the way over here. Now in the north, the rebels are going to get a few major more advances, kind of just a little bit, not nothing major. Stanistan, on the other hand, they're going to do something major. They're going to do something drastic. They're going to quickly blitzkrieg through and take all of this. From here, this is left as somewhat of a neutral land. However, quickly Stanistan takes that over too, and now it is time for the peace treaty. All right. Okay. So Persia has been split up. Now the emperor of the Union, the Roman Empire looking, the Holy Roman Empire looking thing, has split this way, but mostly with Stanistan's leader being his top advisor, which is worth to note. Stanistan gets all of this, as well as they're going to be the ones to dictate the foreign policy of these guys. So they're a puppet state of these guys, basically. This land, all the municipal, provincial stuff is handled by these guys, and then this for these guys. So those guys get significantly smaller chunks. Rebels form their own thing, but they still claim everything in Persia. Blue team still has the stuff that was blue team stuff, and that's pretty much it. Now that's it for today. We are going to be. Why are there still family clips on here? Family Guy clips. Moving on. So now let's move on to the next stuff. Uh, stand overthrow of Persia. Further destabilization in the Balkans. Yes. So Balkan thing over here. Uh, yeah, I feel bad for the Balkans. Also, this part is going to be a lot more sped up because, like, yeah. So the Romanians, firstly, they're going to continue their invasion. However, now in the north, there's going to be even more nationalities that are going to try and break apart, especially over here, where a lot of the north kind of feels neglected by these guys just because of the fact that like they have literally nothing that's the same for them as it is for the Balkans. So yeah, the Balkans, they're going to lose even more stuff, a lot actually, and it's going to trigger a full-on civil war. However, they're going to be able to push some people back, and they're going to be able to get the blue team to mediate a ceasefire. Taking a look at this ceasefire, though, you're going to see it's pretty bad for them. The blue team is liking what's happening in the Balkan area because a lot of the everyone's just um trying to like become best friends with the blue team because they're like getting labeled as the main mediators. Now, so you see, like the new rebel group now, they were really nice to the blue teams. They were giving blue team military bases here, so they got their kind of like elevated independence, same as Romania, basically. So yeah, it's a further destabilization in the Balkans. Now, red team tensions in the Mediterranean Sea are now at an all-time high because they're getting insanely mad at the blue team. They're like, bro, chill. So, they're going to start getting closer with the Carthaginians, and it's all going to erupt once the Romans realize this and launch an invasion, a military coup of the Carthaginians. Because basically, they're going to begin their invasion, but they're going to have the help of the Carthaginian military. That last part is important because that means that the king of Carthage is literally just left with his personal part of the military and a few people who are willing to enlist on his side. He's also buying a lot of mercenaries from a lot of regions, which is looking like it's going to bankrupt the country very soon if this war does not end. And quickly, the Romans, knowing this, are going to launch their invasion. And almost within a week, they're going to actually be able to get down over here, down the coast, to the outskirts of the capital, and they're going to be basically they're gonna turn these guys. They're gonna be like, okay, give us literally everything we want, or else you kids are cooked. And they're gonna reveal all their invasion plans publicly, because they're just that confident, and they're gonna be like, yeah, we are literally. And like also the Carthaginians, because the plans are like brute force type plans, something the Carthaginians know they cannot stop no matter what. So they're gonna get scared. So the Carthaginians are gonna do something drastic. They're gonna contact the red team. Red team's gonna also do something drastic. They're gonna go to Albania, and they're gonna bomb a bunch of stuff and take over southern Albania, and eventually all of Albania. They're gonna leave very soon after the Roman military comes, but they're gonna leave one to a Roman ally, causing even more havoc, and then get down here and then leave. They're also gonna set all of Albania on fire. That's gonna be a lot of casualties, isn't it? Next up, they're gonna launch a little bit of an invasion of another Roman ally over here. They're gonna quickly get over here. They're gonna start breaking through, and they're gonna start invading. And the Romans, they're gonna come to help these guys, and they're gonna quickly back away. Not looking good, is it? Over here, they're gonna help the Carthaginians actually push back completely against the Romans, which is going to hurt the current Roman leader's reputation among his people. And eventually, they're gonna help the Carthaginian military calm down a bit, take over all of this. They're also going to start heavily sieging this, which is going to lead to the Romans kind of just giving it its own independence, and they're going to call it North Carthage, and they're going to basically tell it, okay, you're on your own now. We recognize you. They don't. You have fun getting your independence. Carthage and the red team are going to quickly begin their invasion of these guys, and the red team especially is gonna find a lot of Roman technologies here, and they're gonna push all the way over here, push here. The Romans are gonna be like, oh, you want us to help you? Well, first give us this region right here, and we're still not helping you, by the way. But it doesn't really matter because even if they were helping them, it would just cause even more trouble for them because the red team is gonna quickly go through, and they're gonna wipe out this entire region. That region had a lot of military bases. And in that fight, the military general who was leading the military coup thing, is also oofed. Um, yeah, I think the Romans actually might have just gotten whooped around. But that's why the tensions are so high, because it's all fun and games with the Romans until you're the one that wins, and then they get so mad, so mad. Like this guy, who the current leader of the Romans, this man helped the Romans literally get a complete. He came in like right as the Cold War began, and he expanded the Roman alliance so much. But the Rome people, bro, they're sore losers, man. They lost one war, and this man is fired, replaced with his son, because Rome is also a monarchy, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, these sore losers. Anyways, moving on from that though, we are now gonna have uh now what? Oh yeah, now so Carthage, they're gonna get this back, and now we can move on to the final few stuff that's gonna happen. So a lot of people from from the old guys like thing. A lot of people are gonna see like no matter what you do, if even one thing goes wrong, Rome is gonna discriminate against you. And a lot of people are actually going to start moving up north. Up north, where I'm gonna say Celtic tribes are gonna form their own new nation, a bigger, better Rome. They're gonna call it the Alp Alp city, the Swiss nation, Swiss cheese land. It doesn't matter what it's called; it exists. That's all that matters. And those guys are going to get their capital. That's gonna be important in the upcoming episodes. Anyway, Crimeans are also gonna use all of this to raise their trade. And then lastly, uh, the Central African Union is they're at their breaking point. Let's just say they are they are at their breaking point. They are actually at their breaking point because these guys, uh hold up, let me figure this out. Central African Union, tensions rise in there also because half the people want to be blue team, half the people want to be red team. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.